Hey, you guys remember when I said, "Oh, we got a lot of stuff in Chozo Ruins to do today"? That was a complete. I'm only
mission
here for like.
accomplished.
Man, you speedrunning that level so quick.
We have so much to do, like leaving. That's it.
Yeah, like leaving.
I believe the out of context chat gif that would best describe what we just did is and 100% done.
Yep.
No, we're not doing Chozo Ruins yet. I completely completely forgot about have to get something else first before we start exploring that area completely.
But now,
Delay the inevitable.
What?
You lied to everybody. They was all looking forward to it.
I know, but that's okay. They'll get it later. After I deal with this pirate that defies gravity. So.
By the way, Lester, are you still crying in missile expansion?
Right there. You
Yeah,
walked
that's a really
past
good
it
point.
here
When
in
you
Talon.
freeze it, I mean, like with the zoomer, freezing it in midair and turning it into a platform is one thing. But if the only way by which space pirates fly is with jets, actually no, the 2D Metroids do kind of make it pretty clear that when you freeze things, they get stuck in midair. So I mean, I can't really use that as
The physics in Metroid make no sense when it comes to freezing things, because anything should just fall.
I mean, the little pirate was just like, "Yeah, I'm just stuck in the air now."
It follows the same freezing mentality as the Mega Man games, if I really think about it. Like, think of how Ice Slasher affects anything. It's just frozen both physically and vertically.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, you're right about that. It's just so stupid.
Meanwhile, if you use freezer spray on a spider on the ceiling, it hits the floor and smashes into pieces. So it's just like, oh, it's unrealistic. I wanted it to be stuck on the ceiling so I didn't have to clean it up.
Hey, I had the gravity suit on. That means I control gravity, right? That might explain it, right?
Yeah, this is VVVVV, right?
Yeah, exactly. You just hit a button on your suit and then you go up to the ceiling.
And
Keep on missing the easy stuff, man. You have that nice shiny new grapple. You could just used it. Grapple? Why? To be fair, we forgot about this thing after the first hour. I don't blame you.
We were grapple what in the what now?
I'll just make sure I had it on my logbook. See, I even tempted you, Lester. I was like, I'm not even using it. I was just going to check to see what I had in the logbook.
Maybe I should get these expansions now. Maybe not.
I don't wanna.
Lester, to be fair, I know which one you're talking about. It's like, oh, there's a missile expansion in that room. Yeah, I know. But there's a door that can't open.
There's two of them, exactly. That's why you can't get the other one.
This is the part that is dedicated entirely to avoiding things until later.
There's a door I can't open at the top there, and I need to get the item to open it. And actually, we're going to get it in this episode. So, yeah, we got to go back to Magmoor Caverns. So we got to get a new item before we can even venture on to the second part of Phase on Mines. Because, well, on the map there, it says there's a red door and a question mark, question mark, question mark. We have to get that question mark in this episode. And I'm trying to figure out, how do I get over there? And it's in here in the geothermal core. And I remember this particular trick very fondly on my Let's Play because I was running very fast in my Let's Play, and then the hint system decided to activate as soon as I entered the room that it was trying to tell me to go.
Yeah,
and then it got stuck on the screen for the whole entire episode.
The hint system's just so broken. When you actually do the task, it tells you to go do.
It's just like, wait, what did you do?
Wait,
you're here.
You knew what you do already? Well, we're still gonna tell you and never shut up about it.
Yes, that sounds about right.
Hey, look, Lester. I'm actually using the grapple points.
Congrats. Now the shelf this thing after we get this upgrade.
Yeah, pretty much.
Samus would like a cookie. She'll never use this again.
Oh my gosh.
Took until Prime 3 where they gave the grapple an actual use that wasn't just swinging, which then gets replaced by space jump in an hour.
Hey, at least it's not. Yeah, is that what you said? Yeah, no. Sorry. At least it's not Metroid Dread where they give you a double jump, and then like literally like 5 minutes later they give you a space jump.
Hey, what was the point in that again? I don't know.
There was no point in that. I still
There
stand by. I
was
was like, dude, the spin jump in Metroid Dread was the most pointless upgrade in the whole entire game, in my honest opinion.
Yeah.
Like, there was no point in having it. It was cool, you know. If you would have given me that, like, maybe like one of my second upgrades, I'm sorry, not second, like maybe like fourth or fifth upgrade. Yeah.
Yeah, within like the first
That would've been
hour or
helpful.
so of the game would have made more sense.
Yeah.
Not hour like 3 and then hour 4 you get space jump. Like, all right, that's a little useless.
And I'm trying to get over to the next area, which I need to get to. Spider Ball track here. They can't find Spider Ball tracks. It's hard to find. It's a hard thing to find.
Yeah. This whole section you're going through right now is kind of interesting because this area was actually something that got patched back in the early days, which the only way they patched games by printing another disc. In the original GameCube release, this door up ahead to get to the expansion was just completely open. But the devs knew because back in the day, this was one of like the biggest games that kind of pushed speedrunning into like what we know it as today. People were sharing information on how the sequence break, which included getting this beam early. So they reprinted this game as like version 1.1 and fixed it by putting Bendesian rocks in front of the door. So you need power bombs. Even if you somehow sequence break up here, you can't get in.
That's a really interesting thing about Metroid Prime 1, going back to one of the previous conversations, is that any percent runs and speed runs are really popular with this game, but going for lowest percentage possible is not as popular.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because I feel like both categories of approach not only exist more prominently for other Metroid games, but overlap very prominently for other Metroid games, and then Prime is mostly just any percent as fast as possible, and not as many people go for one. Ooh.
Yeah, that just
Which
happens.
is interesting because you would think
Sucks.
that especially a heavily speedrun Metroid game like Prime would have a very broad community for lower percentage runs, but no, it's predominantly any percent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more that diversity with the 2D games on that front, which is, interesting when you think about it, because why isn't it as more popular? But then you look at, like, how they gotta go about it. It is extremely difficult. The harder the run, the less incentive a lot of newcomers have to even try it. Especially when it is, like, version exclusive on some front. Like, if you need a very specific release of a game, compared to, like, you can just speedrun any percent and all versions work. Like, then that's another detractor.
Yeah, that's one thing I've been noticing a lot with some games that have very fast speedrun communities and times, is the frequency of how certain releases and certain region choices will drastically change the meta of how that game is speedrun.
Yeah.
And especially how often it happens with stuff like either N64 or PS1 games, for goodness sake. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, I've got no idea what the speedrun community is like for Dread thus far, but I'm curious to
it's been
see
going
what the
back and
meta is
forth.
going to be for that.
I think, like, the general consensus is, or at least what a lot of the bigger name runners are trying to push for, is, like, try to unionize, like, the versions to be, like, the latest release, so that a newcomer can easily jump in, instead of needing, like, the 1.0 version that you can never download again.
Oh,
There it is.
true.
There's
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
so-
not there in the
and,
original GameCube version.
Yeah, and by the way, the plated parasites, I just scanned it. This is the other room that those guys only show up in. The first one was in that one room in Chozo Ruins. This was the other room. Anyways, they also, I guess, patched it because they made the door white, so you need ice beam.
That's another thing, because,
But-
I believe earlier versions, that was just a standard power beam door.
Anyways, we got the plasma beam, which is basically a just giant flamethrower weapon. It shoots flat out plasma, and it's really powerful. The most powerful beam in the game. It does so much damage, and if you charge beam,
There is one more that's more powerful, but it's only against one enemy. We'll see it later.
Yeah,
Much
but
later.
Yeah, much later. But yeah, the thing that's cool about this weapon is if you charge beam an enemy and shoot it, they will catch on fire and they will continuously take damage until they die. So
Yeah. It's even if you get to that point, because the plasma beam is so strong, one shot kind of like one-shots a lot of enemies to begin with.
yeah, I love the plasma beam, but in later Metroid games, I think they nerfed the plasma beam a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I know, Fusion, like, yeah, the plasma beam was strong, but Fusion, it wasn't the strongest weapon. The wave beam was. And then, like, I know, what other ones? Metroid Prime 3, they gave you the plasma beam, like, in the middle of the game. And it's not as strong as the strongest beam. Usually, the plasma beam was, back in the day, it was the strongest beam in the game.
Yeah.
But
although Corruption's kind of a
game-
weird one for that reason, because you technically get the strongest beam in the game within like the first hour or so, when you can go into that whole phase-on mode
Yeah.
anyways, and just hyper mode everything. Because
Yeah.
hyper
Very
beam
true.
that you have with that suit is just completely overpowered.
Yeah. So there's a couple. Now that we have the plasma beam, and we have pretty much almost every upgrade in the game so far. I think like the only one we're missing is another suit. But other than that, we have every upgrade in the game at the moment. So now I'm gonna be doing some cleanup here in Magmoor because I mean I don't want to come back here if I don't have to.
Yeah, at this
This
point you can
brings
get
us-
everything in Magmoor, so you might as well.
This right here was, I believe, another thing that didn't have an animation in the original. This is a missile combo. We haven't gotten a missile combo in a while. This is the ice spreader.
Yes.
Yeah. This is basically
Really?
another version of super missiles, but with ice.
And it's very strong. But it takes 10 missiles instead of 5.
Yeah.
So it consumes your ammo very much. But it's pretty much a one-shot guaranteed kill item.
Yeah.
So
Like, honestly, even if it is 5 more missiles than super missiles, it's really not that much when you really think about it, especially at this point when you have like 140 of these stinking things.
Very true.
yeah, look at what I did to that Aeropire. Just one charge maybe just evaporated. Or disintegrated. I guess that's a better word. He just disintegrated. I can find him. Also, the thing is that sucks is like the aim is kind of bad on it.
Yeah. It's more of like a short-ranged weapon, because like the further something is away, the harder it is to hit.
Yeah.
The thing I like about Prime in particular is every weapon has its purpose, and I like it because like it gives you a reason to have all the weapons instead of just, you know, yeah, I'm just going to use plasma beam for the rest of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, Prime 1 and 2 did this really well, where you have like 4 beams to swap between them at all times. Prime 3 kind of took the approach of other Metroid games where they stacked the beams, so it didn't feel as impactful after a while with certain beams, because it's just like, yeah, it's the same thing as the others, but now a little stronger. Anytime a game stacks the beams and it just barely feels different, it just kind of feels a little more disappointing.
Yeah. So this is where we got his Chozo artifact before. This is probably the most optimal time to get the Chozo artifact, because if you come up here and use power bombs, you get a power bomb expansion. So probably should have just waited on getting the Chozo artifact until now, but I'm just a scrub and I just wanted to get it now out of the way. So
That's all good. It's all good.
can't find the hole. Where'd the hole go? There it is.
That sounds like a personal problem.
I've heard of bad depth perception, but this is ridiculous.
So, there's I think a couple more missile expansions here that we can get now that we have, like, X-ray visor and stuff like that. It's like in the beginning rooms of Magmoor Caverns. A couple, yeah, we couldn't get them before because, well, you need late game items to get them. So,
Yeah. Although there is one in question you're talking about you could get early, it's just you have to know where the platforms are. which is kind of the downside of X-ray visor, which is why it's actually not as useful as something like thermal. If you know exactly where said thing is, X-ray visor is completely useless. Obviously, on the first playthrough, it's helpful, but later playthroughs, it gets less and less used.
Yeah, it's in here. If you turn on your X-ray visor in this room, if I demonstrate it, yeah, here we go. You can see there's invisible platforms in here.
Yeah.
And if you follow the invisible platforms, they will lead you to a missile expansion right here.
Now, if you didn't have X-ray visor and you wanted this early, if you just shoot in the air, you'll see what the invisible platform is, like, say, with power beam. So, again, like, X-ray visor is not required for anything invisible, really, in this game. It makes it easier, but it's not roadblocks, so you can technically get this early. The platforms are always here.
And you'll see that especially with that one missile expansion Lester was screaming out why I didn't get it earlier.
Yeah, it was your introduction idea for the invisible platform thing, because you can see rain kind of like hitting nothing in the air, which is your hint that there's something there.
Yeah, and that's a thing I have to compliment. That's good game design. That is very good game design. If it was like, especially something like that, it's like, oh, hey, the raindrops are stopping mid-air. There's something there.
Maybe it's just a different kind of rain. Didn't you think about that? Come on.
It's rain that arcs slightly in a curve for some reason. There's one specific spot.
It's a special rain.
It's that rain that IGN mispronounced a certain character from Xenoblade Chronicles.
Oh,
Ryan?
Oh, Duncan.
Rain.
Oh, Duncan.
Okay. Hey, Duncan, mate.
Did they call they revised it and put Ryan correctly, but the first draft of that they said Rain instead of Ryan. I was like, why? They literally say his name. Same with Dunban. Why? Why do you need to mispronounce that?
The person who did the voiceover definitely didn't hear what the characters were saying. It was obvious.
But yeah, now we got Plasma Beam, and we're going to now do what I promised at the end of last episode. We're going back to Chozo Ruins to collect the rest of the stuff.
It's all lies.
I'm not lying this time.
It's all lies.
But with that said, join us next time where we're exploring Talon 4 again.
Next time, more distractions.